Welcome to the second part of Introduction to Network Analysis. In part 1, we talked about the basic characteristics of a network. The emergence of a tie is said to be influenced by three kinds of effects. Now, depending on your analysis, you might not consider all three levels, but it is assumed that to get the best understanding about your network, you should be considering all three, but I often see only the first two. These effects are self-organization of networks, personal attributes that influence the presence or absence of a tie, and dyadic effects. I'll provide some more information about each. Self-organization means that a person creates a tie with somebody else because of what happens around him or her. So, regardless of any individual, team, or organizational attributes. An example is reciprocity. If Tom asks Jerry for help, Jerry may also ask Tom for help. It's like the saying, I scratch your back and you scratch mine. Another form is popularity or activity. Popularity is the tendency to get loads of ties. You might see somebody being asked for help by everybody, and therefore you also turn to him or her for help. Activity is when somebody asks many people for feedback. Of course, these behaviors can also be influenced by individual attributes. By including these network effects, you can see if the behaviors I just gave as examples are because of the individual attributes or simply because of the structure of the network. Individual attributes are, I think, the category we are most interested in. These are the characteristics of the sender and/or receiver that we think explain the presence of a tie. For example, Jerry could hide knowledge from Tom because they are different, and Jerry is suspicious of Tom's action. But to understand sender and receiver effect, it is necessary to account for the structural effects I mentioned in the slide before. A tie can arise simply because of the presence of other ties. Lastly, we come to the dyadic covariance. This you need to imagine like a second network you have. You want to test if the presence of a tie in network A influences the presence of a tie in network B. For example, network A could be if two people share an office, and network B could be the level of knowledge sharing. You will test if sharing an office creates more knowledge sharing ties. To conclude this section, there are three frameworks that can explain the presence of a tie. If you leave out one framework, you might not get accurate results.